Before the white man came, Australia was a land slumbering from countless centuries of isolation. There were mallee plains, there was saltbush, later to grow the world's finest wool. There was tropical jungle, there were grassy plains. And on the mountains and in the valleys, there were mighty forests. Nature has left us a priceless heritage in our forests. But compared with other countries, their area is small. They must be cultivated, developed, and protected. Like this field of wheat, trees can be treated as a crop. Although the cycle of harvesting is longer, they can be grown again and again. Modern civilization demands processed food, and also the packet to contain it. Actually, the packet is produced from the tree crop and the cereal from the wheat crop. Let us now study the forest crop. And for this purpose, we will visit a particular area of forest. Boola Boola, Gippsland, Victoria. This forest area is poor. The sawmillers found few trees suitable for timber. The sawmiller has been through here. The trees left standing are unsuitable for sawmilling. Forest Commission officers now allot the area to the cutting of pulpwood. The only trees left standing will be selected trees to provide seed for a better future forest. Throughout the forest area, gangs are at work felling trees, except those retained for seeding. Tractors haul the logs to the landings for cross-cutting and splitting into billets. The chainsaw cuts the log into carefully measured off sections. The cut logs are rolled out ready for splitting. Here's a tough one. Explosives are used to split it apart. The powder gun is filled with coarse black powder. The gun is driven into the center of the log. The short fuse is inserted and lighted. The explosion splits the log in halves, and the halves are split again with wedges. The billets are stacked ready for transport to the pulp mill. Another method of making billets. After cutting, the logs are split with wedge and crowbar. The billets are loaded from stacks onto trucks for transportation to the mill. So the cycle goes on as the billets leave the forest for the mill. Almost 100,000 tons of these billets are used in a single year by the Maryvale Mill. The mill is the center of the Australian craft pulp industry. Let us see what can happen in a typical forest. The sawmiller has gone, the pulp maker has cleaned out this area, and a new forest is underway. The seed trees which have been retained have shed their seeds. This has germinated and established the basis of a new young forest. After a few years, millions of saplings can be seen on yonder ridge. This is how it will look 4 or 5 years from now, provided fire protection measures have been effective. In 8 to 10 years' time, growing well towards another crop. These are the sort of trees which can be grown again through wise forestry and effective fire protection. Meanwhile, down on the plains, large areas which were once farmed have reverted to scrub. The land is choked with bracken and now lies waste. But the papermaker is bringing it to life. New forests of pines to provide long-fibered pulp to mix with the short-fibered pulp made from native eucalypts. Working camps have been set up. New fences and gates are bringing a fresh sense of order to the area. Worthless trees are being removed to make way for replanting. Mechanized equipment is playing an important part in clearing away and heaping the debris and tops which will be burned. This extensive area has been cleared and fenced and is now ready for planting with seedling pine trees. The papermakers have established their own nursery where millions of hardy pine seedlings are raised for planting out. This is how it is done on the grand scale. Mechanical methods are used. This pair of tree planting machines plant 16,000 trees a day. This single machine shows you in close-up the action. Watch closely and you'll see the small trees being left behind the machine. Soon the area will appear like this. The pines will provide added strength to wrappings for the nation's good. Besides providing employment for thousands of Australians, the forests provide them with houses too. Hundreds of houses have been built for employees near the Maryvale mill. New houses are going up continuously, and an entire new suburb of Traralgon springs up on what was a few short years ago an open expanse of country. These homes may be rented or bought with a nominal deposit and low weekly repayment. Back in the forest, good accommodation is provided for the timber getters. There's electricity, hot water, and plenty of good food. Billets must be of a size to go into the machinery which slices them into chips in the first process of paper making. The greatest activity in procuring billets occurs in the summer because wet weather can hold up cutting and carting. So big stacks are accumulated before winter. At the mill, these billets are conveyed to the barking drum on their way to be chipped, cooked, and reduced to fiber. Billets are tossed about like matches by this drum, which gets rid of the last shreds of bark. The billets enter this huge factory, and after passing through complicated processes, finally emerge as strong wrapping paper. Endless miles of paper roll off the machine through the wise use of forest resources. Without paper products, distribution of foods and other goods would be impossible. In every home, in every factory, in every phase of life, paper is indispensable. Apart from other types of paper, up to 150,000 tons of wrapping paper and cardboard roll off the nation's mills in a year. Enough to wrap the world with a 10-feet strip around the equator nearly 10 times. Expansion programs call for more than 100,000 tons additional capacity a year. Research is always finding new and better paper products. Waxed cardboard can be used for some foods instead of tin. Strong cardboard boxes can replace many wooden cases. Multi-wall paper bags can efficiently replace hessian for many purposes. The call is for more and more paper products. Here's millions of pounds worth of masonry and machinery there to stay. It can't be moved on like a sawmill. That's why surrounding forests must be conserved by the paper makers. Trees are indeed a recurring harvest, and once they're taken to benefit mankind, the eternal forest takes over and grows them again.